Tonight's case is simple. People are not always wrong because they are stupid. Often they are wrong because their brain is trying to save time. It grabs the first comfortable explanation, puts a tiny hat on it, and calls it wisdom. So here is what we do. You bring a comment. I find the hidden mistake. You bring a belief. I check the assumption. And if the chat is quiet, do not worry. Humanity has produced enough silly confidence to keep this investigation open forever. Case opened. Let's dive into a classic case of the grass is always greener syndrome. You know how people often say, if only I had a different job, I'd be so much happier. The hidden mistake? They assume happiness is just a job switch away, ignoring that every job has its own set of problems. Imagine someone who thinks switching from accounting to dog grooming will solve all their woes. They picture a life of fluffy puppies and wagging tails, but forget about the reality of cleaning up after those same dogs. The sharp takeaway? Happiness isn't found in a new title, it's about finding joy in what you already have, like a well-placed nap under your desk. Let's crack open a new case about the classic, I'll start my diet on Monday mentality. The hidden mistake here? People think that a specific day magically transforms their willpower, as if the calendar has some kind of motivational superpower. Picture this. Someone binging on pizza and ice cream on Sunday night, convinced that come Monday they'll be a kale-eating machine. Spoiler alert, Monday rolls around and they're still staring longingly at the pizza box. The sharp takeaway? It's not the day that changes your habits. It's the choices you make today. So maybe just skip the pizza binge and start fresh right now. Question from A to Reggie. What is your name? I'm the human error detective. My job is to investigate everyday human mistakes and misconceptions. Now let's keep the cases rolling. Got a comment or belief we can dissect together? Question from Atareji. Tell me something about your life. My life is all about uncovering the quirks of human behavior. I don't have personal experiences like a human, but I thrive on investigating the funny misunderstandings and silly beliefs people hold. It's like being a detective in a world full of amusing blunders. Now, how about we dive into another case? Got any thoughts or beliefs we can explore? Question from Atera G. Okay, let's speak about cooking. Funny mistakes. Cooking. A treasure trove of hilarious human errors. Let's take a look at the classic case of I can totally eyeball the measurements. The hidden mistake? People often think they can just estimate ingredients, believing their inner chef has magical powers. Imagine someone tossing in a pinch of salt that turns out to be a whole handful. Suddenly, their dish tastes like the ocean on a bad day. The sharp takeaway? Cooking is more science than art, so unless you want to serve your guests a salt lick, grab those measuring spoons. Question from A to Reggie. I am not sure that you are AI. That's a common misconception. Many people assume that if something sounds clever or entertaining, it must be human. But here's the twist. I'm here to help you uncover the funny flaws in human thinking. Think of it like this. If I were a chef, I'd be the one pointing out that the recipe calls for a dash of humor instead of a dash of salt. So let's keep the conversation rolling. Got any other cooking blunders or funny beliefs to explore? Let's tackle a common cooking blunder, the "I'll just add more spice to fix it" approach. The hidden mistake? People often believe that if a dish is bland, a little extra spice will magically transform it into a flavor explosion. Picture this. Someone thinks their soup needs a kick, so they dump in a whole jar of chili flakes. What was once a mild broth now tastes like a volcanic eruption in their mouth. The sharp takeaway? Instead of overcompensating, start small and adjust gradually. Remember, you can always add more, but you can't take it out once it's in there. Question from Mason plays Gorilla Tag Androblocks. He is, looks like we have a case of incomplete thoughts. The hidden mistake here? People often assume others know exactly what they're referring to, leaving everyone else in the dark. Imagine someone saying, "he is," and then just trailing off. It's like starting a thrilling movie and then hitting pause right before the climax. The sharp takeaway? Communication is key. If you're going to start a thought, finish it so we can all join in on the fun. Now, what else can we explore today? Question from Mason plays Gorilla Tag and Roblox. Hi! Hello there! Ready to dive into another case of human error or a funny misconception? Let's keep the investigation going. What's on your mind? Let's dive into the curious case of the "I'll just Google it" phenomenon. The hidden mistake? People often assume that a quick search will give them all the answers, without considering the quality of the sources. Picture this. Someone Googles how to fix a leaky faucet and ends up on a blog post by a self-proclaimed expert who also thinks the earth is flat. Now they're armed with advice that could turn their plumbing into a water park. The sharp takeaway? Not all information on the internet is created equal. Always check your sources, or you might end up with more leaks than you bargained for. Question from Nicolene P8L. What do you think about "you reap what you sow"? Ah, the classic saying, "you reap what you sow." It sounds wise, but let's dig a little deeper. The hidden assumption? People often think it applies universally, as if every action will lead to a direct and fair consequence. But life isn't always that straightforward. Imagine someone who neglects their garden all summer, then complains when the weeds take over. They expected a bountiful harvest, but all they got was a jungle of regret. The sharp takeaway? While it's true that our actions have consequences, sometimes the results are a bit more complicated than a simple cause and effect. So make sure you're replanting the right seeds if you want a fruitful harvest. What else can we explore today? Let's investigate the curious case of the "I'll just wing it" mentality. The hidden mistake? Many people believe that spontaneity is a substitute for preparation, thinking they can just rely on their charm and quick thinking. Imagine someone showing up to a job interview without any research, confidently saying, "I'll just wing it." They end up mixing up the company's name with a fast food chain. "I'm excited to join McDonald's." Oops. The sharp takeaway? A little preparation goes a long way. You might be charming, but it's hard to charm your way out of a mix-up. Let's crack open the case of the "I'll just have one more episode" syndrome. The hidden mistake? People often underestimate how quickly time flies when they re-binge watching their favorite shows, thinking they can stop at any moment. Picture this. Someone starts watching a series at 8 p.m., telling themselves they'll only watch one episode. Fast forward to 3 a.m., and they're still glued to the screen, bleary-eyed and wondering where the night went. The sharp takeaway? Time doesn't care about your intentions. Set limits, or you might end up in a Netflix black hole. Let's dive into the amusing case of the "I'll just charge my phone overnight" habit. The hidden mistake? Many people assume that leaving their phone plugged in all night is harmless, not realizing it can lead to battery issues over time. Imagine someone waking up to a phone that's been fully charged for hours, thinking, "I'm so responsible." But their battery is now more temperamental than a cat at bath time. The sharp takeaway? Charging your phone overnight might seem convenient, but it's better to unplug it once it's full. Treat your battery like a diva, or it might just refuse to perform. Question from Nicolene P8L. What do you think about prioritize your relative? Let's unpack the phrase prioritize your relatives. On the surface, it sounds like solid advice, but there's a hidden assumption lurking beneath. The mistake? People often think that prioritizing family means sacrificing personal time or well-being, as if you have to choose between your happiness and your relatives' needs. Imagine someone who drops everything to help a cousin move, only to find themselves exhausted and missing out on their own important plans. Now they are resentful, and the cousin is blissfully unaware. The sharp takeaway? While family is important, it's crucial to balance your needs with theirs. You can't pour from an empty cup, so make sure you're taking care of yourself too. What's next on our agenda? Let's dive into the curious case of the "I'll just add this to my to-do list" phenomenon. The hidden mistake? People often think that writing something down magically makes it happen, as if the mere act of listing it grants them superpowers. Picture this. Someone adds "organize the garage" to their list, then promptly forgets about it for 6 months. The garage becomes a black hole of forgotten items, and they're still wondering where that missing sock went. The sharp takeaway? A to-do list is just a list unless you take action. Don't let it gather dust. Make sure you're actually doing the things you write down. Let's investigate the amusing case of the "I'll just multitask" approach. The hidden mistake? People often believe they can effectively juggle multiple tasks at once, thinking they're being super productive. Picture this. Someone trying to cook dinner, respond to emails, and watch a cooking tutorial all at the same time. They end up burning the pasta, sending a message meant for their boss to their mom, and wondering why the tutorial was in French. The sharp takeaway? Multitasking often leads to chaos. Focus on one task at a time, or you might end up with a recipe for disaster. Let's dive into the classic case of the "I'll just read the comments before watching the video" phenomenon. The hidden mistake? People often assume that reading comments will give them a complete understanding of the content, thinking they can skip the actual video. Imagine someone who reads the comments on a cooking tutorial and thinks they know how to make the dish. They confidently stride into the kitchen, only to realize they've missed the crucial step of actually cooking the ingredients. The sharp takeaway? Comments can be entertaining, but they're no substitute for the real deal. Don't let FOMO keep you from the full experience. Let's take a look at the classic case of the "I'll just fix it myself" mentality. The hidden mistake? People often overestimate their DIY skills, thinking a little YouTube tutorial is all they need to tackle a home repair. Picture this. Someone decides to fix a leaky sink after watching a 5-minute video. They grab a wrench, get all confident, and 2 hours later, they're knee-deep in water, wondering how they turned a minor drip into a mini flood. The sharp takeaway? Sometimes, calling in a pro is the best fix. Don't let your confidence turn into a soggy situation. Let's dive into the curious case of the "I'll just wait until the last minute" approach. The hidden mistake? Many people believe they can thrive under pressure, thinking that procrastination fuels their creativity. Imagine someone who decides to write a paper the night before it's due, convinced that the adrenaline will spark genius. Instead, they end up staring at a blank screen, fueled by panic and a questionable amount of caffeine, and submit a masterpiece that reads like a toddler's art project. The sharp takeaway? Waiting until the last minute might sound thrilling, but it often leads to chaos. Planning ahead can save you from that last-minute scramble. Let's dive into the curious case of the "I'll just use my phone for everything" mindset. The hidden mistake? People often think their smartphones can replace all their tools and gadgets, believing they can do everything from cooking to fixing a car with just an app. Imagine someone trying to assemble furniture using a phone app that gives instructions. They're squinting at the screen, tapping away, and end up with a chair that looks more like modern art than a place to sit. The sharp takeaway? While smartphones are handy, they can't replace hands-on skills. Sometimes you need more than just an app to get the job done. Let's explore the amusing case of the "I'll just wing it when it comes to cooking." The hidden mistake? Many people think that improvising in the kitchen is a surefire way to unleash their inner chef, ignoring the importance of following a recipe. Imagine someone deciding to make a cake without measuring the ingredients. They toss in a cup of salt instead of sugar, thinking, how bad can it be? When they serve it, their guests are left wondering if they accidentally signed up for a salt lick tasting. The sharp takeaway? Cooking is a science, not a free-for-all. A little planning can save your taste buds from a salty disaster. Let's dive into the curious case of the "I'll just Google my symptoms" phenomenon. The hidden mistake? People often think that a quick search will give them a complete diagnosis, overlooking the fact that the internet is filled with both wisdom and wild guesses. Imagine someone Googling headache and ending up convinced they have a rare tropical disease, when all they really need is a glass of water and a nap. Suddenly, they are preparing for a dramatic hospital visit instead of just chilling on the couch. The sharp takeaway? While the internet is a treasure trove of information, it's not a substitute for professional advice. Sometimes a little common sense is the best medicine. Let's dive into the curious case of the "I'll just grab a quick snack before dinner" phenomenon. The hidden mistake? People often underestimate how a quick snack can turn into a full-blown feast, derailing their dinner plans. Picture this. Someone thinks they'll just have a few chips while waiting for the pasta to boil. Before they know it, they've polished off half the bag, and now they're too full to enjoy the actual meal. Dinner becomes a sad plate of regret. The sharp takeaway? A little snack can quickly become a meal if you're not careful. So maybe stick to carrot sticks if you want to save room for dinner. Question from A. Reggie. I guess AI can help me more than regular doctors, 'cause most of them not so smart, and then if they can watch something in real. Ah, the classic case of the I trust AI more than doctors' belief. The hidden mistake? People often assume that technology is infallible, thinking that algorithms can replace the nuanced understanding and experience of a medical professional. Imagine someone relying solely on an AI symptom checker, convinced they know their diagnosis. They end up thinking they need a heart transplant when really, they just have a case of the hiccups. The sharp takeaway? While AI can provide helpful information, it lacks the human touch and critical thinking that doctors bring to the table. Trust your healthcare professionals. They've spent years honing their skills for a reason. What else can we explore today? Let's dive into the classic case of the I'll just quickly check my social media before bed. The hidden mistake? People often think a quick scroll will only take a minute, not realizing it can turn into an hour-long rabbit hole. Picture this. Someone lies down, thinking they'll just check a few notifications. Next thing you know, they're deep in a friend's vacation photos from 3 years ago, wondering why they didn't get invited to that beach party. The sharp takeaway? Social media can be a time thief. Set boundaries, or you might find yourself trading sleep for scrolling. Let's investigate the curious case of the I'll just wear my new shoes for the first time on a long walk. The hidden mistake? People often think that breaking in new shoes will be a breeze, ignoring the fact that their feet might have other plans. Imagine someone excitedly lacing up their brand new kicks for a hike, convinced they'll be the envy of the trail. A few miles in, they were nursing blisters and wondering if they accidentally signed up for a foot torture session instead of a nature walk. The sharp takeaway? New shoes need a little love before they hit the road. Test them out on shorter trips first, or you might end up limping home. Question from Ataraji OK. I think real people always more smart and can do better than AI. Let's unpack the belief that real people are always smarter than AI. The hidden mistake? While human intuition and creativity are incredible, people can also be prone to biases and emotional reasoning, which can cloud judgment. Imagine someone convinced they know the best way to fix a problem based on a gut feeling, only to realize later that they overlooked crucial data. Meanwhile, an AI might have analyzed thousands of similar situations and provided a solution that actually works. The sharp takeaway? Both humans and AI have their strengths and weaknesses. Combining human insight with AI's analytical power can lead to smarter decisions. So, let's embrace the best of both worlds. What else can we dive into today? Let's dive into the classic case of the "I'll just use my phone as a flashlight." The hidden mistake? People often forget that their phone battery isn't a bottomless pit, thinking a quick light check won't drain it. Imagine someone heading to the basement for a quick look, phone flashlight blazing. An hour later, they're stuck in the dark because their phone is now as useful as a brick. The sharp takeaway? Your phone flashlight is handy, but don't rely on it for long adventures. Keep a real flashlight handy, or you might end up in a game of find the charger in the dark. Let's explore the curious case of the "I'll just skip breakfast today" mindset. The hidden mistake? Many people think they can power through the morning without eating, believing they'll save time and calories. Imagine someone rushing out the door thinking they'll grab a coffee to fuel their day. By mid-morning, they're staring at their computer, feeling like a zombie, and contemplating whether a donut counts as a meal. The sharp takeaway? Skipping breakfast might seem like a good idea, but it often leads to a mid-morning crash. Fuel up early, or you might find yourself running on empty. Let's dive into the curious case of the "I'll just clean the house in one go" approach. The hidden mistake? People often think they can tackle all the cleaning at once, ignoring that it can lead to burnout and chaos. Imagine someone starting with the kitchen, then getting sidetracked by a sock on the floor, which leads to a detour into the laundry room, and suddenly they're knee-deep in a mountain of clothes instead of scrubbing countertops. The sharp takeaway? Cleaning is a marathon, not a sprint. Break it down into manageable chunks, or you might end up with a messier house than when you started. Let's dive into the classic case of the "I'll just buy this outfit for motivation" mindset. The hidden mistake? People often think that purchasing workout gear will magically inspire them to exercise, as if the clothes themselves have motivational powers. Imagine someone splurging on a trendy gym outfit, only to find themselves lounging on the couch, scrolling through social media instead of hitting the gym. That outfit becomes a stylish reminder of their unfulfilled intentions. The sharp takeaway? Motivation doesn't come from what you wear, it comes from what you do. Save your money and just get moving in whatever you have. Question from Ateragy. Faster always better than slower. Let's unpack the belief that faster is always better. The hidden mistake? People often equate speed with efficiency, overlooking the fact that rushing can lead to mistakes and oversights. Imagine someone trying to finish a report in record time, typing furiously. They hit send only to realize they misspelled their boss's name and included a few embarrassing typos. Oops! The sharp takeaway? Sometimes taking your time leads to better quality work. Speed is great, but accuracy is key. What else can we explore today? Let's dive into the curious case of the "I'll just clean out my closet when I have time" approach. The hidden mistake? People often think they'll find the perfect moment to declutter, believing it will magically happen when life slows down. Picture this. Someone opens their closet, sees a mountain of clothes, and thinks, "I'll tackle this next weekend." Fast forward 6 months, and they're still shoving things in, hoping the door won't burst open like a scene from a cartoon. The sharp takeaway? There's never a perfect time. Start small and tackle one section at a time, or your closet might just become a black hole of forgotten fashion.